Hi friends, Cassie here, and today I'm introducing the activity I'm most excited about, making edible terrariums. So in here, I have everything good and fun and, not great for you, but tasty that you can eat. So keep watching if you want to find out how to make one of these, and make sure you sign up so that you can get your own kit to make your own edible terrarium. You'll be given all of the snack supplies you'll need to make this terrarium, but you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need a glass container. This could be just a regular cup. I like glass because then you can see through it and see how cool it looks. I'm using a mason jar. I like that because then you can close it and put it in the fridge or have it sealed and protected. You're going to need a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a canned good. That's just going to help us crush some of our snacks. You're going to need a Ziploc bag to make it a little more neat. Probably a spoon, maybe like a little butter knife, and either some bowls or some cups to put some of the supplies in to make it a little easier. So first we have 3 of our snacks that we need to either crush or crumble. We need to crush our graham crackers. We need to crush our Oreos, and we need to crumble our brownies. So I'm gonna start by putting in my graham crackers into one of my Ziploc bags, and here's where it just makes it a lot neater, because then you don't have the chance of things flying all over the place. If you put them in a Ziploc bag, all of your mess stays in there. You want to make sure all of the air's out. And the graham crackers are kind of soft. You might be able to just squish them, or if you have a rolling pin or a can, you're going to just roll it through and get them into a nice fine crumble. So as you can see there, it's nice and crumbly, kind of like a sand texture is what you're going for. Next, I'm gonna grab my Oreos and put them in my next Ziploc bag. And for the Oreos, you can decide to either remove the white in the middle, the little cream center, and maybe keep that as a little treat for yourself. I want to keep that cream center. I think it's gonna just give it a little cool texture and cool look. So again, I'm removing the air, and the Oreos are a little harder, so I definitely want to go at it with my rolling pin. And I kept the cream in, so that makes it a little more messy. So this you definitely want to use a bag for if you're keeping the cream, because it's a little messy without it. All right, and again, have a nice sand-like texture. Now for the last bit is our brownies, and these you want kind of chunks and crumbles, so you don't necessarily need to put them into a Ziploc bag to do that, or use the rolling pin. These I'm going to use my hands, and again, make sure your hands are clean because you're touching food you're going to eat. So I'm moving it from my plastic, and these brownies have this like fudge and candies on top. You might decide to keep those. I think I'm gonna keep them too. If you don't want to keep them, these are, use a butter knife or a plastic knife, or get an adult to do this for you. You can always just easily cut off the top layer and get rid of that fudgy piece if you just want pure brownie in your crumbles. But these I'm just kind of taking little bits and crumbling them into my cup to use for later. So let me just finish that real quick. And depending on the size of your glass or the container you're using, maybe you're only gonna wanna do, if you're using a much smaller cup, you might not need both brownies. My cup's a little bigger, so I'm gonna use both pieces of the brownie because these brownies come with 2 pieces, so that's pretty handy. My cup's a little small, so it's overflowing some. that's okay. All right, and there we go. We are set for the stuff we needed crumbled, and now we can start to assemble our terrarium. I'm so excited. Off screen, I put my graham crackers and Oreos into my little cups just to make it easier to start layering. So now for the best part, we're gonna start to put our terrarium together. I'm gonna start with our pudding and gonna get it in there. And depending on your cup you're using, your container you're using, you might need to put it in by spoonfuls. But mine is a pretty wide opening, so I'm able to just kind of pour it in there. So I want to flatten it out. And as you can see, there we go, that's a good view. There's my pudding layer. And I'm gonna wipe this. Next, I have my brownies. And since I have clean hands, I'm gonna just kind of pour them in here using my fingers. And I like how it has those little colors from the Cosmic brownie because it adds a little color in there. And I kind of want to make sure I get a nice flat layer. Have all my little pieces. I'm gonna go in and spread my brownie around so it's nice and flat. And definitely make sure you can see the brownie pieces on the sides. So again, there's my side view with the brownies. And I'm gonna straighten those out because tilting the cup made them fall over. After we have brownies, next comes graham crackers. Now I'm gonna start to use my spoon to be a little more strategic with my placements. And these cups are falling apart a little, so, you know, using a bowl is probably smarter. Here we go. And I want to make sure the edges are covered first. So that's why I'm working kind of from the outside in so that we have that fun little layer action on the side view. Okay. And pour the rest of that in. And depending again on your cup or container you're using, you might not use all of the graham crackers. You might just need one package, but I gave you two, you know, depending if yours is a little bigger like mine. Let's see how you can kind of see the brownies showing through a little. Kind of looks like some rocks. Okay, and I'm gonna smooth this out. All right, after graham crackers, we have our Oreos. And you know what, I'm gonna use my spoon again. I'm gonna try to be a little neater. So again, I wanna have a nice, even layer. And even though I kept the cream in there, there's no big white chunks, but it helps the Oreo pieces stay a little more together, kind of look like some textured soil. Okay, and I'm flattening that out again. So if you can see from the side, here we go. I have my pudding and brownies and now my Oreos. And careful, don't tilt it too much, because then all your pieces start to fall all over the place. Okay, after the Oreos, we start to get our color mixes. I'm gonna add my nerds, and we have two different colors of nerds. We have some pink and some purple. Now you might want to kind of do some designs with yours. I want mine to be all mixed up together, so I'm just pouring them into a cup first. You know, and depending on the package. You might have 2 of one color. I'm gonna try to make sure everyone gets 1 of each color, but you know, depending on how the supplies go. All right, I think that's pretty mixed. And this I'm just going to kind of pour in. And want to make sure we can see them from the side. So I'm going to kind of push them towards the edge. And if you're using a smaller cup, honestly, it'll be a better effect. This was the only clear glass I had. So that's why I went with this kind of shorter, wider mason jar. But if you had a taller, you know, thinner jar, it'll be a better look from the side. But there's our side view. And now we get to make some designs. So we're gonna take our ear heads, and I wanna make some kind of coral looking pieces. So I'm gonna open my ear head, and you know, depending on, you might wanna use your rolling pin for this. You're gonna try to stretch it, and you know, maybe I'll cut this into 2 pieces before. And you want to stretch a little, and I want to make kind of 2 little coral pieces. So here's one. I'm gonna stick it in there. Oh, you know, try to stick it in there so it stays. So there's one piece, and I'm gonna do the same with the other. I'm rolling it into kind of like a snake shape, and then kind of crimping it to make it a little wavy. I'm gonna stick that next to it. Oh, and I'm gonna try to show you the side view, but it might fall over. So, oh, yep. A little hard to show you from the side, tilting it with the camera above, but you can kind of see how I placed it that way. And some of my nerds went a little wacky, so I'm just tilting it back. So there's my coral pieces, and now I want to make a little kind of swirly shell. So again, I'm gonna stretch it a little and try to roll it into one long snake. I'm just rolling them between my hands. And once you do that, you can kind of start to squeeze it while you're doing that to make it longer. And then I'm gonna make a spiral, starting at one end and then working my way in. And I think I have a cute little kind of shell type piece. There we go. I'm gonna put that right over there. Fix my other pieces. And we also have some fruit snacks that I think could also work as a little shell shape. You know, if you have other candy at home that you want to put in, like if you had some gummy worms, those would probably be very cool looking in here. But I have this little grape piece that I think doesn't look too odd. And what's this? Huh. Well, maybe this little strawberry next to it. And maybe I can have a couple carrots sticking up. All right. And there we go. There's the inside of my terrarium, and I will show you a side view in a minute. And here's the side view, so you can see all of our layers. You can see our shells and our gummies in there. But there we go. And there's a closer up of the top. And voila, there's our terrarium. I hope you have as much fun making this as I did.